Hey, welcome back, everybody, and welcome to SummoNerds. My name is Evan.
And I'm Matt.
Today we've got a fun game for you. We have a game between the Swamp Mercenaries and the Fallen Kingdom. I'm playing the Swamp Mercenaries.
Yep, and I'm playing Ret-Talus again.
Back
if you
on
recall.
Ret-Talus.
Yeah, from a very early games.
The first game.
Yep, and the second.
And the second game, yeah.
Right.
It's been since then, since any of us have used him.
Mm-hmm.
We had all the alliances things at that time, though, so it's not that you couldn't have had the same deck.
Right.
It's not like anything new has come out, but Matt is really good with Ret, especially post-alliances. He's just such a powerful deck,
right.
so...
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, since the addition of Warlocks and the Hellfire Drake, that's really brought Ret into the swing of things here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a very cool matchup because both teams have a denial mechanism in their events. One, Glurblub has the Spore Carriers, and Ret-Talus has the Dark Sacrifice.
Yes.
So it's very, it'll be a high magic game in theory. So that's it's fascinating. We've never done this matchup before, so that's also fun. I killed my Skeletal Archer there, and it didn't trigger the magic lock, so I was able to get that under my Reaper. Yeah.
So yeah, Matt went first there. I'm going to go second, and I'm going to show you my hand here in just a moment. Here we go. Spore Carriers, Swamp Beast, Swamp Dominion there, Wall, and a Swordsman. So I get Swamp Dominion my first hand. Mm-hmm. That's what I hate. I hate that so much. As Glurblub, I get that. It seems to be a lot with me. I get Swamp Dominion really early, and then it clogs my hand. I don't know how to get rid of it safely because it's only one card, but there are other things you want to keep in your hand, like I'm going to put that on that wall. There are other things like a champion. You might want to keep that, and like maybe a Vine Bind will show up, and you don't want to just throw that out the window. So then that's 3 cards in your hand all of a sudden you can't use. So Swamp Dominion is just a horrible feeling to get so early.
Yeah, I don't mind it as much in my. I mean, I prefer to have it early, but not necessarily in my first hand, I guess. But when I get it, I'm like, okay, yes. So now I have the opportunity to make this play at any time. Is kind of how I think about it. But yeah, I agree. It does tend to clog that one slot for a while because you're absolutely not going to play it pointlessly. Yeah. That's your big powerful event.
So the key here for me is as Glurblub. Glurblub actually has to be in the fray at all times. To make the Vine Walls reality, to make the Swamp a reality, he has to be up in there doing his thing. I did kill that zombie warrior right off the bat. That felt nice. Mm-hmm. I have to be able to keep him up there doing his thing, and I can't let him be killed by a quick wall force summon a loot ball or something. And even if he's not killed, even if it didn't actually destroy him, if it weakens him significantly to the point where I can't safely keep him up in the action anymore, that might as well be a loss for me, because losing Glurblub and his ability early in the game would be devastating. It would be really hard to create any more Vine Walls. There's a limited amount of Spore Carriers, and Spore Carriers, and there's a limited amount of what do you got there?
So I had a couple Phantoms, right?
Phantoms are nice.
The idea behind Phantoms in this deck is primarily for the Dark Sacrifice. Yeah. They're very cheap to get out and can get that magic right back. Obviously, I'd prefer a 0-cost unit, but that doesn't exist currently for the Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah. So I mean, you could put some Apprentice Mages in there theoretically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
That'd be fine. Mm-hmm. But and I know some people have a thing against using Raoul's units outside of his deck, but I mean, it's not a huge boost to Ret's economy to be able to do that as opposed to the Phantoms, because the Phantoms are actually really good for their secondary use, which is like stealing a champ. Of course,
yeah. The Phantoms have the ability, if you're in a big bind, you can possess a unit. So that's of course 1/6, but the more Phantoms you throw out, the higher the probability.
If you have like 3 or 4 Phantoms in your deck, like you have a reasonable enough chance if you're able to get all of them to trigger at least one time, to just get 1/6, and then I mean if you can get a champion,
that's massive
for the price of 4 Phantoms. That's usually worth it, because it's not just what you gain; it's what your opponent loses. So if you get like a 6-cost champion, maybe you're thinking, I had to pay 4 magic to get those phantoms out, and then those phantoms could not become magic, so that's another 4 magic that you're losing. So maybe you paid 8 to get their 6 cost champion. That sounds negative, but in fact you're also stealing 6 magic from them that they paid to get the champion out. So then it ends up being totally in your favor.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, a champion swing like that is massive.
It's huge.
And if you just notice, I summoned a Warlock immediately, so no 2/4 summons happening this game.
Nope.
That's an impossibility. But the reason I was so hasty with summoning that Warlock is because with such low attack value in the beginning game here, I need a way to get that Vine Wall out of my way. So I summon a Warlock out of pretty much desperation early on here just to defend myself. And I can definitely afford only using 1/4 summon this game. I'm not terribly worried about that. But so I did get rid of the Vine Wall there with Jack the Reaper over there, and I just took a nice swing at that Boarboon. So now it's got 2 wounds.
Yes. Yeah, and remember the Reaper had 2 attack because of the Skeletal Archer that went underneath it, because its magic lock didn't go off. So that was nice.
I also in my hand had the Force Summon, so when I draw a champion, I'll be able to play that Force Summon immediately.
Yep.
I had a Fallen Phoenix Cultist in my hand. Those are primarily for their 3 health. They also have that ability that can trigger on the 6 that could be useful at some point, but they primarily serve the same purpose as the Reapers, and that's just to protect Ret.
Yeah, I find that the cultists are a little nicer in my mind because the Reapers can become more powerful, but they often become magic pinatas. And like what I'm doing right here, I'm summoning a Boarboon, and then I'm going to move up with Glurblub, and then I'll have 5 to hit 3 on that Reaper that'll be worth 2 magic. So, and I'll get a Vine Wall out of it when I hit it. Swordsman, Swamp Dominion, Swamp Rat. I forgot to show my hand. But I had another wall, obviously, and then that Boarboon I summoned. That was what I had this turn. But that's my plan here. Kill that Reaper, get a bunch of magic back, have another forward Vine Wall, and then hopefully take a swing at this Warlock, too. So I rolled with the Boarboon, and oh man, I literally rolled 3 1s.
Oh, yeah.
So that's bad. So I now can't kill the Reaper. I also can't kill that Warlock. Did a wound to it, though. I'll still shoot at the Reaper because good to wound it.
Yes, that was kind of more like a Snorboon in that situation.
Oh, no.
Am I right?
Literally 3 1s.
Yeah,
special.
Yeah, so that should have been 2 magic in Evan's favor and a Vine Wall in that spot.
Yeah, but I've got Glurblub in a position now where he can still be hit. But if you'll notice, I have that Swamp Rat there. And I've got a wall on his other side. That way, I can only be attacked from one side in the case of a force summon with a wall.
Yep.
Which is
so there's
because you have all 3 of those cards.
So I have a wall, force summon, and I had Karthos in there.
Yeah.
Like I will sometimes just summon Karthos just for his attack value if I'm desperate enough. Just I need a little bit of health on my side and some 2 attack. But ideally, I would like to hold him until the late game where I can take advantage of his ability and get some precise die going. Precise dice, if you would. The plural form.
But you also have the wall, which is nice, so you can play a wall and then the force summon, get something out anywhere on the map that you need it.
Yep.
Anywhere on the board. And then your positioning now is pretty decent too because you don't have too many walls near you, so none of my wall events like Vine Bind or Vine Lash are going to come in handy for me until I can get some walls near you. Ret, like you said, you can't use 2 force summons anymore, so the lowest he's going to get through your cards, through your means, should be 2 HP left, 2 life left, which means unless you summon another Warlock or something.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing about holding off on 1 force summon is you have a little bit more health in that end game on Ret, especially if you don't summon a Warlock like I did and you just use 1 force summon. You actually have 3 health, which actually makes Ret able to play an end game at some point. He can be used with his 2 attack instead of just dying. But oftentimes I just double force summon during the course of the game and it's fine.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's if you really can block off with your champions, it's usually worth it to do the double force summon. It just makes Ret easy to kill. in certain instances.
And that's the nice
that wall there is nice.
The addition of the Warlocks. Some of Ret's weaknesses are taken away because like Into Darkness on the Shadow Elves can't trigger against Warlocks because they're a 3 summon cost unit. So he's actually able to defend himself against certain events that would strip him during the event phase. Obviously, Ensnare still is an issue.
Yeah.
But
But
a lot more.
It's definitely helpful to have those Warlocks on the board there, and it gives them some more range. Ret really lacks range in the pre-second summoners. He really didn't have anything that could. I mean, skeletal archers, but one attack range is not very. It's not very powerful. But those Warlocks, that 2 attack really makes a big difference. Nice snipe on the Boarboon there.
Yep.
Attack my other Boarboon here probably.
Right. So this move was. Yep. So I hit that Boarboon, and my goal here is I want to kill my own Reaper and get that 2 magic back.
Which is smart.
So I'm shooting it with Ret. Amo. And then there's that hit, so I got that 2 magic.
Got the 2
back.
magic, you're safe there.
So very fortunate for me that wasn't 2 magic for Evan and a Vine Wall, instead it was my 2 magic.
Now you have a bunch of magic that looks like about 6 or 7 maybe.
Yeah, there was quite a bit there, so
we'll see what I have here in a second. But the other thing I was going to say, my deck, I have a couple interesting things in my deck. I obviously have some Swamp Rats and a couple Swordsman, Boarboons, but I also throw in a couple Spore Carriers, or Swamp Beasts, and for their ability, mainly, to create some more walls when maybe Glurblub can't, or if he gets hurt too badly and needs to pull back a little bit, I can still create some forward walls. It also creates some kind of scenario where Matt has to choose between killing the unit and letting there be a wall, or just letting the unit run rampant in his back row somewhere. So I have those out, and I also put Urick in the deck as a champion, so I can use his ability potentially to hit the Swamp Beast and send it up into his territory, like a Vine Wall bomb, little Vine Wall missile. And if I happen to fail and I kill the swamp, kill it, then it becomes a Vine Wall anyway. So worst case scenario, I at least get a Vine Wall out of it.
Right.
So just something kind of fun. I'd never tried that before in Glurblub. Usually I just pack a bunch of rogues and some kind of more standard units and like some nice standard champions. But I thought this would be kind of fun. Gives Glurblub more range with his Vine Walls. It's a really expensive strategy, because each of those Swamp Beasts is expensive, and then Urick is expensive. But you really only need it maybe once or twice, and Urick is just a decent champion on his own if you have the magic for him. And it also gives you the opportunity, in the rare instance where this move is possible, Urick could knock Glurblub far into deep enemy territory for a Swamp Dominion play late, or mid-late game, to get an unexpected bajillion dice on your opponent's summoner from an angle they didn't think you could hit. Right. So all of these kind of ideas floating around in my head, I just thought Urick would be a really fun one.
No, Urick is just a really fun champion to play around with. I haven't used him in a lot. I've actually thought about using him in a Ret-Talus deck, so I can push my commons up farther and some champions. I can blast some champions around the map. Yeah. So I've thought about that before too.
I've used him in a Raoul deck a while ago to move Stone Golems a little farther, because their ability, I believe, only triggers if they've moved during the movement phase.
That's correct.
So they can still attack things during the attack phase if they've moved 3 spaces. So you can get Stone Golems, which are in Raoul's deck potentially effectively walls, deep into enemy territory, and they can still make attacks. So I like Urick in general. He can do some fun things, but yeah, if you're looking at the deck lists, which are in the description below, then if you're wondering about why some of those things were in there, that was some ideas that I had, and I think I have Splack in this deck. Just thought some nice ranged creation. This whole deck kind of centered around the creation of Vine Walls was the idea, and then I put in Make the Tusk because I just felt that I needed a low-cost, strong fighting champion who didn't have any tricks up his sleeve.
Right. No,
you need somebody who can pack a punch.
Oh yeah, I mean, Mick the Tusk is just a phenomenal Swamp Horde champion, no matter what deck you put him in.
I could have put in Splub was an option that I definitely considered, but Splub, I already had a 7-cost champion. I didn't think I could swing another, especially with those Swamp Beasts in the deck.
Yeah.
So, you got Karthos out there, though. That's
yep,
important.
so that was what I was talking about earlier. I can't really take advantage of Karthos' ability, but I'm just going to kind of summon him. And I have some nice health that I can take advantage of. That's a space that stops him from getting closer to Ret right now.
Got that third wall out there, too.
I've got a Vine Wall problem. I knew that Warlock was probably going to become a Vine Wall based off my last turn.
Yep.
But I'm going to do my best here to shut it down.
So I created another Vine Wall there with the Spore Carriers. So I've got a couple of walls on his side. He made a nice defensive wall placement there. We'll chalk that up to kind of a neutral play on both of our parts. It wasn't really a victory for me or him. I forced him to play one of his walls defensively, his last wall. Yeah. I forced him to play it defensively as opposed to a force summon offensive or counterattack kind of a play.
Right.
But at the same time, it was an extremely effective placement for him. So it did effectively stop the play I had in mind, which was to kind of put him in immediate danger. He's got 4 dice now on this wall by Ret if he needs it.
Right, so hopefully I'm hoping to get the 3 for 2 here so I can take a whack at Glurblub.
Yeah.
So now I have... Yeah, here's Ret's attack, so I got it. I got that wall.
In the rare but horrible instance that you missed all 4 of those or missed...
Yeah, it was very possible
to
be summoned and smacked.
Yeah, but it was pretty likely that he had...
Yeah, that was a chance I had to take. I mean, that was a good roll on Glurblub there.
Yeah, that was very helpful because this means now that it's very easy for Matt to summon with Karthos a precise unit that can kill him in 2 turns.
Mm-hmm.
So he can do that 2 times and just win now. Glurblub is within 2 turns of losing.
Mm-hmm.
Is kind of how I'm thinking about it. Okay, still got Swamp Dominion and Splack,
yep.
Swamp Rat, Vine Bind, and I believe, Mick Tusk. So that hand is filled with things I can't hold on to forever. And so I think this turn I took a ridiculous amount of time, if I remember correctly. I edited this pretty heavily. But what it came down to for me was I didn't know... I knew I had to get rid of a lot of those cards, but they're all super valuable. Mm-hmm. Glurblub is actually in a bit of a position here where he's struggling. And... Karthos needs to... Oh, there we go. This wasn't the turn I took. There was one turn I took a ridiculous amount of time. But but I edited it way down, so it's not anymore. So Karthos has like a really great position on Glurblub right now. He can still summon something off that other wall, that potentially, if I don't block that space. So I needed something... I needed to just kill Karthos quickly. And I thought, I have a bunch of Vine Walls out. I can actually just use Swamp Dominion. That'll get it out of my hand. I will be killing a champion with the event, creating a Vine Wall in the process. So I'm not completely wasting it on a common or something. I'm killing one of his champions that he paid a whole 5 magic for.
Right. So it's just an event. It's not like it's a champion for a champion. The Evan be winning the champion battle.
Yep.
By doing this. But not the event one, because that's a pretty hefty event.
Because that's maybe Glurblub's biggest event there. So, So I think what I end up doing here is I'm debating whether or not maybe Splack or Mick comes out. I have enough for either, because they're both 5 costs. I go with Mick because Splack would be really fun, but I wanted to just get out my tanky champion now, the one that can kind of take the most hits.
Mm-hmm. It's also... it's also a good idea in terms of unclogging your hand to go for that expensive one first, because it'll be easier to get the other ones out later.
Those 2 end up being the same cost, Splack and...
Oh no, I was thinking of never mind.
Yeah, no, but they're... But what he's saying is true. If I'd had one that was more expensive and I had the option to play it, it might be nice, especially if I thought it was better for my positioning. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move Glurblub back because he's in a little bit of danger where he is. I'm going to try to kill off Karthos in 1 turn. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, I believe, Vine Walls there, and I hit 2 with Mick, making this almost assured kill for Glurblub, with a 6 to hit 3. So I've now got my own champion out. I've got another wall. Yeah, there he goes. I've got another wall, a vine wall, up in his territory. He can't. I've created a choke point in which I have a champion and he does not, so that makes me pretty happy. I'm gonna see if I can kill this skeletal archer with my swamp rat. I did.
Yep. Let's see if he
becomes
is
anything.
locked. No, he is not. Magic
take
locked.
that.
Darn. It's always satisfying to me when the skeletons trigger their ability.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
in that case, he just died like a normal unit. But.
So I'm blocking off a lot of his summoning points around that wall, that really defensive wall near his back row. Glurblub is relatively safe where he is. He can't play any force summon nonsense to be able to hit me unless he has a ranged champion. I guess Hellfire could hit him maybe if she stepped onto that vine wall, but
that doesn't sound particularly worth it.
No.
Unless I could summon a cultist with her. But I don't have that much magic.
Yeah, you'd have to force summon, and at that point you're playing into my hands just as much as you'd be.
So I have
doing anything else.
I still have that force summon. I had a Legions of the Dead, excellent event for red. I had a Warlock in my hand, so if I wanted to get crazy again, I could. It's always tempting to get crazy with the Warlocks. I just think it's such a cool ability.
There's Legions of the Dead.
So here goes down goes Legions of the Dead.
You realized your discard pile was upside down for no reason.
Yes.
Happens.
Yeah.
All right, so
is that Boarboon in there?
Yep. So now you're gonna try to figure out. Let's see. Move red over. Yep. You gotta create a big cluster of your own units. You can hit my swamp rat from here.
Yep. That's the idea. So here I'm initiating my attack phase with Ret, paying the 3, and now I'm doing this simply because I'm probably going to use the ones I just put into Magic. Maybe another one in there too, but there's definitely a Warlock in there I'm going to get out.
There we go.
Can't stress how good Warlocks are.
Yeah, especially with that Legion of the Dead, you just got that Warlock out for 1 magic.
Yep. So there's a Fallen Phoenix Warrior. Yeah, I had that in my hand earlier. I forgot to mention it, but the Fallen Phoenix Warrior, I think, is another great addition because it not only provides a piece of health with its 2 attack, it also can move up adjacent to another unit and provides more movement potential in Ret's deck.
And in an extreme situation, could maybe move back and defend Ret.
Yep. It can just warp right back to Ret. Obviously, that's a 50% chance.
Yeah, you can't rely on it, but it could still come in handy. But so he killed my swamp rat, which was to be expected. It was only a placeholder to make sure he couldn't summon anything and destroy my vine wall was really the concern.
So now, there's no reason. Yeah, there's no reason not to attack the vine wall. My Phantom's gonna have a swing at it. Go Phantoms go.
Go Phantom Rangers.
Yeah. Phantom Rangers.
Oh, actually,
so
decide not to do that.
Yeah.
You decided to try to just kill the Phantom with your cultist, and it didn't work.
I didn't do it.
Just maybe to get that magic out.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I'm sure it was just to get an extra piece of magic and deny that swing at the Phantom, but I don't mind missing that because the Tusk you can just charge in there and wailed on my warrior.
Yeah, it might have been that might have been your play, but it would have left you open potentially for a ranged shot through the warrior's space if I'd killed the warrior, which is likely. Then I could summon something off that vine wall and shoot at Ret if I had a ranged unit, which Swamp Beast, Splack, Spore Carriers,
Urick, and a Bounder. He's joking. I promise.
For that to come up. He's a mercenary unit for Glurblub's mercenaries deck, and I figured never underestimate the element of surprise. 1 splash Bounder put in there. No one's going to see that coming. So now we see the Swamp Beast coming into its own. If he attacks it, then it becomes a wall in an inconvenient place, blocking off that summoning point for another turn. That space can only be attacked from one side that Matt has access to. So that Swamp Beast is just it's putting Matt in between a rock and a hard place, kind of. And obviously he'll have to attack it. He missed 2 dice. That was very unfortunate.
Yeah, that's.
But it puts Matt in a bad position because he has to attack it, but then he has to deal with a vine wall right afterwards. And potentially, if I have something like 2 Vine Lashes, I can kill that warrior and move right through that space with a newly summoned unit and attack Ret for everything I've got, if that's if that comes up in my hand.
Yep. Very scary, the double lash.
But yeah, I put that Bounder in there really just for the element of surprise.
Yeah,
there's maybe a chance it could jump something in Ret's deck and get right next to Ret for that final.
Yeah, exactly. That final hit could potentially come from an unexpected Bounder.
If you had double force summoned, in particular, you're trying to keep Ret safe. You've got a big wall of things in front. Maybe the Bounder does it. And I figured, at worst, it's just I built it to Magic. There's only one in there, so it's definitely not a central theme of the deck. It was just an option if I needed it. So I think I built it immediately. Actually, I think that's that card there on the top of my Magic.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure I just dropped that immediately because it didn't come in handy instantly.
Right. Now, what I'm doing here is I had a handful of events that you saw. So I had 2 force summons. So that means automatically I get 1 magic out of that. That's a no-brainer. I can just toss one of those force summons into magic at the end of the turn. But what I am doing here, I'm trying to make the most out of my handful of entirely events. So I played Dark Sacrifice just now to get rid of that Warlock.
Got a Magic
Now
Drain.
I'm going to Magic Drain because now I have less units.
He Magic Drained my Bounder.
Yes.
And he's going to look and see what he drains, and now he's laughing hysterically that he sees a Bounder in any of our decks ever.
That was it. Yeah, that was an amazing moment.
That's 100% for sure the first time any of us has ever used that unit ever.
Yep, nobody's ever used a Bounder in their deck.
Nope,
that was the first
not in our
time
group.
I saw one.
Yep.
It was exciting. But so yeah, that's one very nice play you can make with Ret. Is Dark Sacrifice doesn't always have to be used in tandem with a champion. You can Dark Sacrifice your units to get less, and Magic Drain. Magic Drain, a bit of a sleazy event, but in this case, it's very it's cool. It's
effective,
yeah,
well, it prevents me from like that thing I was talking about before, where I'd want to summon something maybe to the in the corner next to the Swamp Beast. If he kills the Swamp Beast, I can maybe double Vine Lash and then move through and hit Matt. Well, now I don't have any magic to do that.
Yep.
So I'd have to. The best thing I could use would be maybe a Swamp Rat, and then that whole move is not all that effective. And what he's doing is he's actually moving away.
Yeah. Well, did I play? I had a legion. I'm pretty sure I had my other Legions of the Dead in there. But
well, yeah, we're about to. If you summon things, we'll see it for sure.
Yeah.
So you're thinking you're going to try to hit Mick with that 6. You're going to try to. Oh nope, not that. You're going for the Swamp Beast first.
Swamp Beast first.
All right. Then attacking Mick for the 6.
Yeah. Here we go. Definitely going to get a 6. No, I got a 1.
All right.
So that's okay. Cultist, he's got some health. That's what he's there for.
Yep. So now Mick the Tusk is in an okay position. He's got a Vine Wall right under him, providing him that extra attack.
Yep.
He's not going to get hit from the side because he's got that Swamp Rat there. He's really only got one angle to worry about. He's got full 6 life left. Yep, and there you go. You're just going to summon a normal Cultist with Ret's ability.
With Ret's ability to get a normal Cultist out. Then I discarded, obviously, that Force Summon. Yes. There was no reason for
Interesting
that
to note, I do believe when Ret has... there's Urick. I finally have Urick.
Urick was in there last turn,
okay,
too.
And a Bow Grounder and Vine Lash. Bow Grounder, again, is just for that quick, unexpected play. But what I was going to say was, Ret, just worth noting for players, if you play a Legion of the Dead, and then because of maybe the rolls on your turn, you realize that it's more beneficial for you to keep 1 extra magic and just summon 1 unit with Ret's. Ret still has his normal ability, Raise the Dead. He does also have the ability Greater Raise. You can choose which one to use.
Right.
He doesn't have to use Greater Raise.
He gains the ability Greater Raise.
Yeah, it's not replaced. Yeah. He doesn't replace his old ability. I believe on the app it does replace his ability if you play on the Summoner Wars app, but that's, I believe, inaccurate. So if someone corrects me on that from the...
I think if you end that spot with 2 magic, that it will just do a normal raise if you still want to use his ability. But I don't think you have the choice if you use Raise the Dead with 3 or more.
Yeah.
Greater
on
raise,
on that app.
Yeah.
So...
No, that's...
I'm just going to move... I Spore Carriers to give Mick a little bit extra here. He's supposed to kill the Cultists. He got 1 hit on it. With that Vine Lash, I was really hoping I would get at least 2, because that would have been enough that on the next turn I could have Vine Lashed through and then walked Mick right into Matt's face and started aggressively attacking him. Same thing there happened with the Swamp Beast. Only got one, but one would have been enough, especially if I had got 2 on the Cultist. Then I really would be in a position where I could Vine Lash, kill 2 units instantly, and move through those spaces. That's the big thing about Vine Lash, is it happens before the movement phase, so you can run through.
Yep.
One other thing I was going to mention real fast, that at the bottom of the board, as you're looking at it, so the side no one's been playing on all game, the entire game I've been thinking about using Urick to shoot a Swamp Beast across that empty column for when we were playing, I guess, row visually for us watching, but that very bottom row there, I was really planning on trying to get Urick to shoot a Swamp Beast up that row and hit Ret from the side, and then force Ret to attack the Swamp Beast or create a Vine Wall down deep in his space. I've been watching for that opportunity all game. I've been trying to ignore that side of the board so Matt wouldn't see it and maybe give me the opportunity.
Right.
But I need a lot of magic. Yeah, I need a lot of magic to pull that.
10 magic.
10 magic. So it's definitely not organically coming up, but I've been hoping that you would give me the opportunity for it to work, and then I would be able to pounce upon it.
Right.
So, but I'm not putting all my eggs in that basket. I like playing that way.
Yeah, I wouldn't have considered it, so there's... I mean, maybe with 10 magic I start looking at things differently, but... So here's... Yeah, so I'm bringing out Anica.
Yep.
I'm using another Dark Sacrifice to
Karthos.
deny 2 units. The reason for this is to open up that path to that Swamp Beast.
Another magic
and
drain.
I'm able to play another magic. This is a big magic turn. So, took full advantage of both magic drains. The goal is to get another magic type, like with Anica's Spirit Drain, I can get another magic by killing that Swamp Beast. And now, I'm also playing Legions of the Dead, so I'm going to get a lot of those units back that I just Dark Sacrificed. So
that was a well-played turn.
Yeah, that's kind of the dream with Red. I love turns like that, where it just all comes together with
all
your
those
magic
events
pile.
just come right out when you need them, and you get to use them in that super effective combo order. So now he's gonna kill the Swamp Beast with Anica almost assuredly. The Swamp Beast will become a Vine Wall still, but now not quite as effective because it's unlikely I'm going to be able to Vine Lash my way through Anica.
Right.
And he will also drain a magic from me on top of the 2 magic he already drained from me this turn with his magic drain.
Right.
So he also completely refreshed that cultist that was attacking Mick the Tusk.
Now, it went from 1 health to 0. So, I mean, to full health.
Full health. There we go.
But there's that 1 hit I needed. I drained the last magic Evan had. That was a huge magic swing. That was a 6 magic swing that turn.
Yep, that turn.
Yeah.
So that's really big for me. I've been really low on magic ever since I summoned Mick because he's been draining it every chance he gets.
Yeah.
I did get a great position, but I sacrificed every bit of magic I had to do it, and I am nearing the bottom of my deck.
Right.
So he still has more deck left. He does have a champion out. I have a champion out, but he has more units out. My position means nothing if I can't get some units out here. Vine Lash, Vine Bind, Swamp Beast, Vine Lash. So I have both lashes. I could have potentially done something had he left his cultists with 1 life. I still could have walked through that and whacked Ret for a whole bunch of dice with Mick the Tusk if he hadn't Dark Sacrificed that cultist and then refreshed it kind of by summoning it again with Ret's ability.
Right. So yeah,
I don't kill him again.
Right. So these are definitely unlucky rolls on my units because he's not generating any magic by killing them with the odds, and I keep draining. So it's very hard for Evan to generate any sort of magic right now.
So Matt has really turned that choke point that I was excited about with Mick the Tusk, where now he has 4 attack every turn, and he can only be attacked from one side. He's taken that and he's turned it against me. He's using it more effectively than I am. Yeah. He's also got some free swings on my Vine Walls right now. I have those Vine Walls up that I really went to a lot of trouble to get there. I put the Swamp Beast down for 3 magic. That Swamp Beast was not able to kill that warrior with 2 attacks, so it was not able to generate any magic itself, but it was able to produce a Vine Wall. So that whole Swamp Beast effort, that whole 3 magic I paid, produced 1 Vine Wall. that Matt now has free swings on.
Right.
So I'm really upset about how I've allowed this to, I've allowed my position to erode, and Matt is winning the Magic game very seriously right now, very hard.
And Evan's lower on deck than I am, I believe, in this situation.
We're very close, but
yeah, it's close, but
probably
I do
lower.
think I'm remembering I had the deck advantage, just eyeballing it, of course.
And of course that Matt has moved Ret away, so even in the best case scenario where I'm able to Vine Lash my way through that space with Mick the Tusk, I now can't even get a hit on Ret. I couldn't have killed him either way with the position as it is now, but I was waiting. I'd been really waiting for that opportunity to show up where I could run through and hit Ret, preventing him from using another Force Summon, perhaps. If I could have just got 2 more wounds on him, I could have prevented him from using a Force Summon the whole game, which would have been really big. If I'd hit 3, then he couldn't summon any more Warlocks with their ability. So I was very much hoping that I would be in a different position if I'd had the opportunity arise where I could have used the Vine Lash. It would have got it on my hand, and it would have also afforded me a better positioning. But it didn't go that way. So I was waiting for the opportunity to show up, and it didn't break my way. So now I've got to deal with this new position where I can move Mick the Tusk up to attack Anica, and open him up to being attacked from 2 sides. He also would only have 3 attack because he's only adjacent to 1 Vine Wall. Or I can leave him where he is, and I can let Matt come and attack him. I can give Matt a free attack on him. Neither of those sounds like a good option.
Right.
And I'm not generating any magic pretty much no matter what I do.
And I did just bring that cultist back again. So that cultist is he's back again with full health.
Yep. So this is a really difficult position for me because I don't have very much magic to play to get. I was really hoping to get Urick out this game just for the extra life. He would also be maybe very helpful against Ret. He could knock a common out of the way and allow Glurblub to shoot Ret, perhaps, was a thought I had. I didn't build this deck necessarily against Ret. I didn't build it because we typically don't build decks that way to exploit our opponent's weaknesses. We just build a deck that we think will have synergy with itself, will be strong all on its own, and not something that will try to exploit an opponent's particular deck or a summoner's possible weaknesses.
Right.
But as it happened, I did have a lot of options for dealing with Ret and his wall of common units. But here I didn't kind of missed on that Warlock there.
Yeah, was that
And then Glurblub missed on Anica.
Wow, yeah.
And then watch this too. Swamp Ret didn't even hit the wall.
Yeah, well, that's.
But it wouldn't have mattered if he hit the wall. I didn't want him to hit the wall.
Right, but yeah, wow, that's amazing.
So, so what I've got here is I needed to push forward. I have to push this aggressively forward because I'm losing so much in the Magic game. I cannot come back if I pull back. If I pull back, I've lost. Because I know that he can summon the Hellfire Drake pretty quickly. Like, pretty soon in this game, I know he'll have the ability to summon it.
Yeah, spoiler alert, that's my last champion.
Yeah. Well, it's in the deck list, so they can see it.
No, yeah, it's...
But that's... I know that he's got that in the deck.
I would be...
because...
I feel like there's no reason to not pack the Hellfire Drake.
That would be like
Ret's
Matt
deck.
playing Merrick without Spider or something. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
I know to expect it because it's actually maybe even more prevalent in your strategies.
Yeah, no, the Hellfire Drake just like I feel like he just screams like he belongs in Ret's deck with such a high summon cost. That means Force Summon lowers it to a very reasonable amount.
Yep.
I mean, and his stats are just obviously incredible.
Stats are amazing, which is nice for Ret, and Dark Sacrifice can be used so effectively with it because you can really get the most out of those Dark Sacrifices. You can afford to let him get hit for maybe 2 turns, just walloped on by anything around him. While he deals with it, you can build up some units, and then Dark Sacrifice, and take 5 wounds off of him or something, which is the entire total of Dragos life or Karthos life. So you can turn you can turn a whole game around with a well placed Dark Sacrifice.
Absolutely.
With the Hellfire Drake.
Yep. Oh man.
Which we've seen. We saw that actually with you against Joe in Game 2.
Yep.
Our second game we ever played.
Game 2, if anyone wants to go back, refresh. They remember there was some great Dark Sacrifices on the Hellfire Drake.
Yeah.
It was.
That was some, so they can kind of understand where we're coming from if you want to watch that.
Yeah.
But so I need to push the aggression because I basically have to win on a quick unexpected. There we go. That's all.
Yeah, so there is a double lash potential right now, and I have been thinking about that possibility. So when I had a 2 health unit there, I didn't want to keep it there for very long next to that vine wall.
Yeah. So what's difficult about this for me now is I know he knows that's a possibility. I know he has roughly the amount of magic he needs to get out the Hellfire Drake. I have a handful of events as 0 magic and Urick. And I'm not going to be able to get out Urick this game. It's kind of dawned on me at this point that I've been trying to generate magic for several turns now, and I haven't got anything out of it.
Yeah.
So
Anica just being very efficient this game.
Yeah.
Also threatening another drain on Mick the Tusk.
Yep.
For next turn. So there's
got a likely kind of drain on him actually next turn unless I reposition myself. It's highly likely that she'll be able to drain.
Right.
But yep, here I go. I'm just gonna move Glurblub up. I think it's kind of my only play at this point. I know that at this point winning is really just highly unlikely for me, but again, I just need an opportunity to.
So there, down goes my Warlock.
There we go. Got 1 Warlock, got 1 magic.
And now Glurblub.
Attack on Anica. 2 hits on Anica.
Now, did that Vine Bind go down this turn or not?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't. There'd be no real reason for it to.
And there goes Urick into my discard pile.
Yep. So Vine Bind hasn't been played. I can see all those events. There's a handful of events there.
I'm still hoping that there's a chance that you won't expect the Bind Lash combo, and that could maybe even next turn get Anica in a position where I could take her out completely.
So I do have the Hellfire Drake in my hand at last. I haven't been showing my hand the past couple turns. But here comes a Phantom. Yep.
Yeah. Forced Summon. Is that what that is?
Forced Summon.
Yep. There we go.
Yep. So
Forced Summon. So now the Hellfire Drake comes out.
Yeah.
For 4 magic.
4 magic.
Same cost as Zasterbane.
Yeah. Yep.
Or
so now I'm
Child or something.
Now it's time to pay for that fella.
You'll remember in a second.
Yeah, we're sure taking our time here. There we go.
I actually noticed, just as a weird aside, you usually pay your magic first and then summon units, and I tend to summon the unit then pay the magic.
Yeah, so I know that was a bit out of character. I don't know if I was just really excited. I don't know how I was going.
Maybe it's because you played the event to summon him. Maybe it was all out of order for you.
Yeah, I don't know.
You weren't summoning during the summon phase.
Yeah, now my magic. So I did just also Dark Sacrifice to
heal
Anica.
So now my hopes and dreams of destroying Anica are dashed.
Yeah, I was thinking of a vine. I knew a double Vine Lash wasn't going to kill Anica, obviously, but and now I can just automatically kill Mick the Tusk when the time comes. But I'm attacking Glurblub first. So
it is now, even before you attack Glurblub, but now that you've attacked Glurblub, it's actually now almost 100% impossible for me to win this game. And the reasoning is I'd have to move the Hellfire Drake over some walls and shoot at him, and you'd have to miss the roll to get off the walls several times and miss the wall several times. But you can kill me in 2 turns with the Hellfire Drake, because the Hellfire Drake has the ability to get 1 precise die on any units next to it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you can win in 2 turns just by moving next to me and using its ability, not even attacking with its dice, and I can't kill you in 2 turns.
Right.
There's no possible way for me to do it. So I know this is true. I'm hoping Matt will not use his ability, and he'll instead try to use the 3 attack, which is obviously a higher percentage chance to win this turn. So I mean, I've lost. I know I've lost, But if there's any chance for me to win here, yeah, here goes a bind and a lash.
Also,
double lash, I guess. No, yeah, not a binded lash, just 2 lashes.
Right. Also important to note, now Ret is in range of a unit that could be summoned and attack him from range, but there is no possible unit that can hit him 2 for 2 in this scenario where Evan has 1 magic.
Conjurer.
They're not ranged.
Yeah, but they can become ranged.
No,
but they wouldn't
no,
have 2 attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't. That's true. Yeah, then you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're just right.
If I'm thinking about the Conjurer correctly, it doesn't have a ranged option. It just increases its attack at melee.
I thought it could do either sort of like the Apprentice Mage, but I might just be wrong. I just might have remembered that incorrectly.
Yeah, I think it can just
increase its attack.
Right.
You might actually be right about that. Now that I'm thinking about it, but yeah, I can't think of a single unit I could use in this scenario. Someone's gonna mention a mercenary common in the comments that I'm not thinking about that has 2 attack from range.
I'm pretty sure I'm covering them all in my mind. So
I don't know that any for 1 magic though. That's the big
right.
kicker. Yeah. In any case, I've definitely lost.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, did you just go ahead and did we miss that while we were talking? Yep.
Oh, that was the game.
Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next time.
Yep. SummoNerds out.